Shalom. We are the Hebrew Israelites. Alright, we come out week in and week out to prophesy the downfall of America, which is Babylon the Great. Alright, and also to spread the gospel, which gospel means good news unto our people. Alright, which are you so-called blacks, Hispanics, Native Americans, and you do have Israelite foreigners, man. Okay, so without further ado, we're going to give all the praise, all the honor, and all the glory to Yahweh, Ba'Hashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'Hashem, Harakah Kodash. Double honors to our elders and our apostles that rule well at Great Millstone. Shalom to all you sincere Akim, preaching this word in all truth. So we're going to start this off in Genesis chapter 27, verse 40. Alright, going into who Esau Edom is, according to the scriptures, characteristics of this devil, who is the so-called white man. Okay? Because this devil, alright, Esau, the so-called white man, okay, he's looking to eradicate you Israelites, man. Okay? You so-called blacks, Hispanics, Native Americans, and Israelite foreigners. Alright, he knows down to a T that we have been scattered amongst all nations. You know? So these elite, they have an inner circle of what you call their so-called royal bloodlines. They're you know. But go ahead.
Yeah. This is Genesis 27 and 34. It says, and when Esau heard the words of his father, he cried with a great and exceeding bitter cry.
Because Esau had discovered that the birthright, the blessing, all that pertains to the adoption of the Heavenly Father and His Son was granted, actually given to our people. So he lifted up his voice and he wept, man. He cried. Alright? Like the damn devil he is, because when you read in Genesis 25, Esau sold it, which is all through the Spirit. But when he sold it, he wasn't crying then. You know? But after the blessing was actually dealt out, because here it is, Esau's a damn demon. Like Gad, the so-called the Native Americans said, you know, they said the white man spoke with the forked tongue. He'll make a deal with you and then be like, I never did that. And look to kill you for it, man. Okay? So he was like, what is this birthright going to do for me right now? I'm at the point of dying. Okay, go ahead. Hey, whatever you got, if you got something.
I wanted to bring something out real quick.
You know? Hey, the scriptures call him the devil. Alright? Esau, the so-called white man, is the ultimate devil. Which the word devil just means an accuser, a slanderer, a deceiver.
Oh, right here.
What?
So, real quick, I wanted to just bring the precept out. In Genesis 25 and 20, it says, and Isaac was 40 years old when he took Rebekah to wife, the daughter of Bethuel the Syrian, Padan Aram, the sister to Laban the Syrian. And Isaac entreated the Lord for his wife because she was barren.
And real quick, that's where you get that scripture where it says, thou shalt not abhor an Edomite. It's actually talking about the Syrians. When you look at the blue letter, okay, the word there is not Adam. It's not Adawam. Alright, the word there is Aramai, which meant in Aramite, a Syrian. Okay? So when this said that our forefather, Isaac, married a woman of the Syrians. Read again about this.
This was Genesis 25 and 20. And Isaac was 40 years old affected a wife, the daughter of Bethuel the Syrian of Pt.1, the sister to Laban the Syrian.
Right. You know, Laban and them, they were Syrians. They were Israelites before they were actually called Israelites. That was Abraham's family that came with him from Ur the Chaldees, which was known. They taught us a bit of that history in school growing up, middle school, which dealt with Mesopotamia. All right, Mesopotamia. Okay, that's where the Ur of the Chaldees was, which they were highly into evils, man. Okay, sorcery, dealing with demonology. All right, left hand magic, which all magic is literally left-handed. You know, if it's not spiritual power, it's magic, which is witchcraft anyway. But it said that the Most High told our forefather Abraham to leave his father Terah and that family that was there, because they were into worshiping other gods, man. Okay, so these people that went to Pt.1, okay, those are actually our people. At the time, there wasn't no such thing as Israel yet. Okay,
that was like Abraham's uncle or something, Nahor. Stayed back right there.
So Abraham, their father was Terah.
Oh yeah,
Terah. And Terah had other sons, which one died. Which is where you got Lot.
I think Haran died and Nahor.
God, I mean, okay,
yeah.
You know, just for truth's sake, you know, touch into the history a little bit.
Because it's important, because that's why you had Abraham, they had Isaac, and then Isaac went and took a woman and said to go to our kin, right? Because that was who he left Ur with, and they settled over there. I believe it was in the
I get it.
It was like Haran, right? And then Jacob was the same thing. They sent Jacob to go get a wife from the same people.
God, so this is Genesis chapter 11, verse 24. And Nahor lived 29 years. And Nahor lived 29 years and begat Terah. And Nahor lived after he begat Terah 190 years and begat sons and daughters. And Terah lived 70 years and begat Abram, Nahor, and Haran. Now these are the generations of Terah. Terah begat Abram, Nahor, and Haran begat Lot. And Haran died before his father Terah in the land of his nativity, in Ur of the Chaldees.
So Nahor was Abraham's brother.
Nahor and Haran. I'm going to continue. It says, and Abram and Nahor took them wives. The name of Abram's wife was Sarai, and the name of Nahor's wife Milcah, the daughter of Haran, the father of Milcah, and the father of Ishka. But Sarai was barren; she had no child. And Terah took Abram his son, and Lot the son of Haran his sons, and Sarai his daughter-in-law, his son Abram's wife. And they went forth with them from Ur of the Chaldees to go into the land of Canaan. And they came unto Haran, and dwelt there. And the days of Terah were 205 years, And Terah died in Haran.
And that's why it's important to know the history and to actually read about the history, so that when you come across something like "Thou shalt not abhor Edomite," and it gets broken down to you that that word is not Edom, that it's Syrian, that it's specifically talking about Abraham's brother's family.
Yeah, let me see real quick. Slut, bear with me a second.
Because not understanding the history will trip you up in the New Testament. Alright? You have to know what was going on in the Old Testament to understand what's going on in the prophecies and what's going on in the New Testament. We really got to have the Spirit of the Lord, you know. Yahweh outside to be dealing with you. Alright? Your eyes got to be open to prophecy and, you know, open to understanding the scriptures. Alright? But you know, if the Lord does wake you up, right, and all you do is, you know, watch videos and never really do any studying for yourself, right, you're going to have a harder time understanding things for yourself, you know, because, you know, when brothers do videos and stuff, we jump around in the scriptures a lot, you know. So if you read it for yourself, all right, you'll be able to see, all right, this is what was going on. And then it's good you have the AI, so you could literally go into the AI shit and ask it, hey, what was going on during this period of time? You know what I'm saying? What were the customs of this happening? Like, what was the world like back then? And then the AI will take it and break it down and serve it to you, man.
God.
But it's really no excuse to not be able to research anything anymore, man. Because you got the AI now, which will just it'll scan through thousands of texts for you and then summarize it for you.
And then that's how you know we're in the end. Yeah. You know, knowledge shall be increased. That's why this guy is tweaking the AI now. You know, tweaking the AI and having it censor certain things. You know, but go ahead back into Genesis, whatever you got.
Yeah. So in Genesis 25 and 21, and Isaac entreated the Lord for his wife because she was barren, and Yahweh was entreated of him, and Rebekah his wife conceived, and the children struggled together within her. And she said, if it be so, why am I thus? And she went to inquire of the Lord. And the Lord said unto her, and this is the point, 2 nations are in thy womb, and 2 manner of people shall be separated from thy bowels. And the one people shall be stronger than the other, and the elder shall serve the younger.
Right. You know, and that was going into, you know, Jacob, all right, being stronger, you know, than Esau, man. This is the birth of Jacob and Esau. It said one people shall be stronger than the other. Okay, and you see that even in this time, that Jake dominates in everything they do, even when it comes to even Esau's military. You know, when Trump was out there, and he had some, you know, big generals with him. They were Judites, man. You know, when Trump was first president, like what, almost 4 years ago. You know, what, 3 years ago? He got it at his first term. 2016. Man,
It's been a while.
And they were Judites, man.
It was like 8 years ago.
Yeah. It said one people shall be stronger than the other, okay, and the elder shall serve the younger. All right, the elder is Esau, man. It's just gonna go into
Can I link it to why I brought it up? Because we're talking about how Jacob got the blessing and Esau was crying bitterly. I brought that out to point out that Jacob and Esau, even though they're brothers, the Lord said these are going to be two separate nations. So only one of them could get the blessing.
Yeah. Yep.
So just because, that's how the Lord does things, right? Just because you have twin brothers doesn't mean they're going to be, Isaacites, No, the Lord separated them to make them become their own nations, their own people, And that's ultimately who Abraham and Isaac and other sons of the power, would come back through that line through Jacob, because that's where the covenant rested, was with Jacob,
Yep.
You got to understand this stuff, man. It's
It goes further into that when you read Romans 9.
Right. Genesis 27 and 34. And when Esau heard the words of his father, he cried with a great and exceeding bitter cry, and said unto his father, Bless me, even me also, O my father. And he said, Thy brother came with subtlety, and hath taken away thy blessing. And he said, Is not he rightly named Jacob? For he hath supplanted me these 2 times. He took away my birthright, and behold, now he hath taken away my blessing. And he said, Hast thou not reserved a blessing for me?
Which was a lie. He lied to Isaac. Because when you read back in 25 through 26, okay, even throughout 27, which is what we're in, Jacob and Esau, all right, had a deal, and Esau sold the birthright to Jacob, our forefather. See, so he was lying about that, man. He didn't know, that what he sold. He didn't know what he sold, because what came with that birthright was the blessing. And vice versa.
Hey, if you go, in the scripture it says, Thus Esau despised his birthright. And when you go into the word despise, it means to take lightly.
It's heavy.
Yeah.
That's heavy. That's why they're so fucking mad right now. Okay, because they see their civilization is crumbling, and they want to put the blame on these people, man. Especially right now, you got fucking ICE going around, and they're not only messing with the Northern Kingdom, they're messing with the Southern Kingdom. They're messing with their own people. But the main image, the main people they're trying to antagonize or deem is the Northern Kingdom, man. Because that's where they're going to start, And it's all to make a move on all you jakes, man. To cause civil unrest,
Yeah. You want me to bring out how we sold it, or you want to just...
go ahead.
Yeah. So this Genesis 25 and 24, or no, it's a lot. Oh, it is. So this Genesis 25 and 24, and when her days to be delivered were fulfilled, behold, there were twins in her womb. And the first came out red all over, like a hairy garment.
That's why we say Esau, the so-called white man. Okay, because the label of a white person didn't come around until what, 1700s?
Late 1700s.
All right, because they're actually red. Okay, that's why you got a whole bunch of these Edomites from the south, and they'll call themselves rednecks.
Right.
Because they're not really white, they're red. Esau came out, as it says, the first came out red all over, like a hairy garment. Okay. But you have to add.
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, and Esau. Well, this place is Rome all over again. And when you go back to the Roman, their customs with their court system, they dealt with a white and a black stone. And a white stone meant that you were justified, all right, and you were free. And a black stone meant that you were guilty or a slave, right? And so that's where you get white people and black people from, because they coined white people the European indentured servants. They said that they were white. They referenced black for the chattel slaves, which were the southern kingdom, primarily Judah, Benjamin and Levi, primarily Judah. Judah got the worst of it. But that's why they still call you black unto this day. It literally is a term for a slave. All right.
Yeah, it's like the term for somebody that's been crossed out of their society. You're dead to their system.
Right. There was a thing that I saw about how Irish people became white, and it was going in because you watch that movie. That one Gangs in New York, you would see they didn't consider Irish people as part of the Esau civilization. And then Irish people started to get into like offices in the police sector, mayors and governors. And then that's how, Irish people ended up getting integrated into Esau's system like that. Southern Kingdom, and then Esau uses that to divide and play on those racial themes.
Yeah, because like the brother mentioned, Southern Kingdom, the Irish, are actually members of the Southern Kingdom. The Irish are predominantly Benjamites, man, predominantly. But you have all the tribes mingled amongst them, man. All the Southern Kingdom, to be specific, mingled amongst them. Okay, because you got King James, where we got the translation, the King James version, and he was a so-called Scot.
Right.
But that being said, he was more than likely a Judite.
Right.
Which is the head tribe. Hey, the scriptures say the scepter shall not depart from Judah until Shiloh comes. So Judah would always be the head tribe.
Yeah.
The Irish, they Scots, Italians to be exact, Sicilian, Southern Italians, they would fall under the Southern Kingdom. Yeah. And going back to Rome, right?
Going back to Rome,
they'd give you a white stone as you being liberated.
Right.
And a black stone would be like you're through.
Hey, that's why in the Jake world, light-skinned Jakes are hated on so much, man. Especially if you're a Jake that look totally white, man.
And if you were light-skinned back in the days when slavery was still like super, rampant, you'd be looked upon with more favor.
They'd treat you different, man. They even showed that in the old school, like the 1920s racist ass cartoons and stuff. They would show the so-called black woman. She looked horrible, man. She looked ugly. Yeah, it was awful. And then a light-skinned woman come through and everybody's whistling at her and stomping their foot.
Yeah.
Looking like the wolf. That wolf that fucking, his tongue come rolling out and shit. Yeah, man.
Hey, if y'all ever seen that movie about slavery, The Color Purple, it showed you that one of the slave masters was actually a Judite himself.
Yeah.
And he had Whoopi Goldberg as one of his main servants, his slaves.
There was actually thousands of Judite
slave masters.
Slave masters. That shows you that Esau is a carnal man. Really, you know what I mean? It goes. That's why he would measure the noses and the cranium, the eugenics thing and all that stuff, man. You know, everything's based on, you know, what is physically presented to him. You know, like he knows that Jake is scattered among his people, but that's why he, inbreeds, and he keeps his circle, you know, within a lineage that he can trace back himself. He has to make sure, because he's a carnal man. He can't really, you know, he can't truly identify through the Spirit. Man. Only this can differentiate, you know.
Yeah, the Spirit,
because the Lord ain't gonna give the Spirit to a heathen. That's why, you know, no matter what, if you're a heathen, eventually you're gonna get separated and pushed out, man.
That brings me to this. Isaiah 11:11. This Isaiah chapter 11, verse 11. It says, actually I'm going to start at 10. It says, and in that day there shall be a root of Jesse, which shall stand for an ensign of the people. To it shall the Gentiles seek, and his rest shall be glorious. And it shall come to pass in that day that the Lord shall set his hand again the second time to recover the remnant of his people, which shall be left from Assyria, and from Egypt, and from Pathros, and from Cush, and from Elam, and from Shinar, and from Hamath, and from the islands of the sea.
Right.
Which are, you know, Israelite foreigners, man. Now the key point is it says, and from the islands of the sea. Alright? Scotland, Ireland, yeah. Those are, you know, they're right there by the sea.
Yeah.
A lot of the Greeks, you know, especially the ones spoken of in the New Testament, those were all like
little islands.
Those were all little islands, the different city-states of the Greek Empire.
All them different books. I don't know why I'm drawing a blank, but Thessalonians, Philippians, Colossians, Corinthians, Galatians. That's why Paul was always traveling by boat, you know, because these are all different islands.
Yeah.
Because the Greeks, they took it from Japheth, which are islanders.
Yeah, when you read in the Apocrypha how it talks about they made an alliance, the Maccabees made an alliance with the Romans to fight against the Edomites.
Right.
Those Romans that it was talking about were Japhites, man. And they made a league with Jake to fuck up you devils, man. You know? But here it is, this devil wants to say, oh, he's the Spartans. He was the Trojans.
He's everybody.
He's everybody. He was Achilles.
Well, I seen a commercial for a movie that they just came out with about King David. And the Israelites, you know, they depicted them as the small hats. The Canaanites were white too.
Now I just looked up an ancient coin. It was called a Tenedos silver drachm of 550 to 470 BC, which is dealing with what, the Greek Empire. Now the first looker, that's Jake, and on his hand it's like a great hand or a spartan helmet.
Yeah,
you got the nigga lips. They like to scoff us, you know. And I'm gonna show y'all. All right. Let me see. I'm gonna show y'all. You know. All right, you could clearly see that that's a so-called black man. All right, you see the lips, you see the woolly hair. And then you see the Spartan or Greek, I should say, to make it simple, the Greek soldier helmet, man. Which, like we mentioned, those islands, those areas, you know, in modern day Europe, right? They were all city-states back then, if you will. You know, you had the Trojans, which the scriptures mention, and it says Troas, which was Troy. Okay, where you got the Trojans, the Corinthians, the Colossians, what other ones? Thessalonians.
Yeah.
You know, brothers written to the beloved Thessalonica. That's where you get the push of Thessalonians.
Yeah, that happened because even before Antiochus Epiphanes went around putting hell on Jake and forcing him to, you know, take on these Greek customs, trying to force Jake to take on these Greek customs. A large number of Jake willingly Hellenized themselves into, you know, the Greek customs on their own terms, bro.
This is before Antiochus.
Right.
This is 1 Maccabees chapter 1, verse 11. It says, in those days went there out wicked men who persuaded many, saying, let us go and make a covenant with the heathen that are round about. For since we departed from them, meaning before they were already,
Yeah.
we have had much sorrow.
And Jake has always had that spirit. That's the same thing when Jake was walking through the wilderness. And what happened? There was a company of Jakes that rallied up a bunch of Israelites to go back to Egypt. And what they say, for since we departed from them, you know, we've been suffering all this time. You know, we don't have the leeks and the garlic and the...
Those are the same wicked niggas.
It's the same, yeah. Hey, Ecclesiastes 1 and 9, bro. The thing that has been is the thing that which shall be.
And we see these niggas in their new spawn forms.
Oh yeah, God.
Telling you scared of needles.
Oh yeah.
Condoning their members to get the jab when they were pushing them, man. These are the same niggas that are telling you how are you going to eat in that day.
Yep.
Teaching you not to have faith in the Lord, man. Okay, when Yahweh Bashem Yahushai can literally do all things, how are we going to get food in that day?
Yeah, hey, you're not going to be able to live a life of luxury, alright? But you're going to survive, you fucking asshole. You might be a bum.
Which they have a problem with.
Which we're not bums. we fucking have jobs, bro. We just don't care. You know, all of the scriptures tell you the love of money is the root of all evil. That's why you assholes are sold out, because you love money.
Yeah.
That's why you're fucking wicked, man. That's why you're talking all this shit, because you're adverse to the spirit, man. You don't want a low-level job. You don't want to be a minimalist. You don't want to be a pilgrim in the earth. Y'all want to be referenced.
Well, they want this place to keep on going.
They want to be referenced on this side. That's why they wear the flashy clothes. That's why Nate comes through in the stallion, the noble steed. Yahweh Shai didn't even roll up on a steed, bro.
Nope, he was on a donkey, man.
Well, this guy, he thinks he's greater than the Lord, man.
Yep. Well, the nigga had on gold armor. Now, I don't remember the exact color, so I'm gonna just say it. It was more likely purple, you know.
Right.
So, but I was thinking, man, 'cause there would be those illustrations.
If he rolled up in green, that's wicked, bro.
Bro,
That's wicked as hell.
we gonna have to look at it real quick.
That's wicked as hell.
You go ahead and keep talking. I'm gonna just look it up.
Yeah, we'll just go back into this. So let me go back through this right here now. So we done broke down. We went off on a lot of different things about the history. But that's how you ground yourself and you root yourself into the truth. Alright, is that you build a strong foundation that's not shakeable. Alright, that's not able to move your faith. Okay, because there's guys that get taken out, alright, by seducing spirits and doctrines of devils because they don't have a foundation that's built upon Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, man. They don't have and you got to realize that it's more than just, yeah, I believe in Yahweh Shai. No, Yahweh Shai is more than just a person. He's the embodiment of the scriptures, of wisdom, of all things that pertain within the scriptures. So in order to truly believe in Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, you have to believe and you have to apply the scriptures. Alright, you got to depart from evil. You have to repent. Okay, you have to use the scriptures and different, wisdom and instructions that you get from it and from the prophets, from the elders, the apostles, bishops, the brothers of Great Millstone that are in the spirit. Really just watch brothers that are in the spirit, right? That give you different testimonies of things that they've been through, according to the wisdom of the scriptures, dealing with people in the world, dealing with finances, dealing with women, dealing with, a household, so on and so forth. Alright, this thing embodies and encompasses life, period. Alright, how you should conduct yourself in captivity. That's why the scripture says, alright, the renewing of your minds. Alright, and it says, be not conformed to this present world, which there's a lot of so-called Israelites that are conformed in all of the ass of this present world.
Bro, I just got too much. I just want to bring this up. This is 2 Corinthians chapter 4, verse 3. But if our gospel be hid, it is hid to them that are lost, in whom the God of this world hath blinded the minds of them which believe not, lest the light of the glorious gospel of the Mashiach, who is the image of Yahweh, should shine unto them. For we preach not ourselves, but Mashiach Yahweh Shai the Lord, and ourselves your servants, for Yahweh Shai's sake.
Yeah, and if we're not servants, then what are we, man? We come out here week in and week out, making videos for what? To explain this to you.
Wake up the 11.
Yeah. This is all free information. You got assholes out here that are charging people to get false information. The real information is free. The real spirit is free, man.
Yep.
Alright, and Yahweh Shai, he came in the image of his Father. That image is not just a physical look. It's also, when
the program.
Yeah, the program. Yeah, it's the spirit. It's the program. It's, the system, the true system. That's the image that the Lord meant for society to look like. Alright, meant for the world to look like. With Jake ruling over it. Alright, in righteousness. According to the laws, the statutes, and commandments that were written. That is the image of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. It's not just a physical image, man. It's not just, I believe he had woolly hair, he was a black man. I believe that. Anybody could believe that. Alright? There's a lot more to it than that.
It says, for we preach not ourselves, but Yahweh Shai, Mashiach, the Lord, and ourselves your servants, for Yahweh Shai's sake. For Yahweh, who commanded the light to shine out of darkness, has shined in our hearts to give the light of the knowledge of the glory of Yahweh in the face of Yahweh Shai HaMashiach. That proves it right there that he was the program. Okay? It says in the beginning was the powers, right? And the word was a power. And that's talking about Yahweh Shai. Okay? He is the word. Alright? And then he went and created the other angels, the elect. And they went and created everything you see. Okay? It says, but we have this treasure in earthen vessels.
Which is why nobody believes us. That's why we get scoffed, we get looked down on. Alright? Hey man, a polished turd is still a fucking turd, man. So just because you arraign yourself with beautiful garments and you know, you stand in the mirror and you practice your speech and you you out there looking like Martin Luther King Jr. speaking at a rally. Hey man, that don't mean nothing. Alright? That don't mean nothing. Like I said, a polished turd is still a turd, man. And the scriptures say all our righteousness is as filthy rags, man. We're here to promote the truth, not ourselves. We're here to promote the names of Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, not ourselves, man. You people, you fucking assholes are trying to stay in the world. You're trying to comfort Esau. We don't hate you. Well, the God's the one that hates you.
Oh yeah, I guess Nate is afraid to come out and actually say it.
Well, no, man. You starting with the elite banking families, Donald Trump, Elon Musk, all these, all these government motherfuckers, all the way down to your tobacco, Jake hating racist fucking Edomite. We hate these fucking devils, man. They're adverse. They're wicked. They're evil. They can't get right. Why would you even want to have some sort of dealings with these people, man? All they want is for you to be a slave.
Yeah.
If they want you around, it's just for their own devices. It's not because they really care about you.
It's because you make them money. Okay,
you make them money, you make them laugh, you entertain them.
Right. Hey, Esau's form of entertainment, whether it's laughing, gives him money, gets him money.
Right.
Uses Jake to go to war and steal resources for him.
Yeah.
It says, but we have this treasure in earthen vessels, hidden in plain sight.
Right.
The secrets of the Lord, alright, are hidden in plain sight. We got this treasure in earthen vessels, these wicked ass fucking carnal bodies, man. And I call it wicked because it's subject to vanity, man.
Yeah.
It doesn't let the spirit fully thrive. But Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai is going to give us new bodies.
Yep.
Alright, I did a lesson not too long ago about these bodies that we're in. Okay, the scriptures say not to defile the temple.
Yep.
So you want to take care of this body. Alright, you can't be a nigga and not brush your teeth, man. You get what I'm saying? You gotta take care of yourself, man. You gotta take care of this temple that the Lord put your body in to the best of your ability.
Yeah.
Yeah, we are gonna get new bodies, alright, with spiritual powers. We're gonna get extraterrestrial, superhuman bodies, right? But you gotta take care of this one while you got it. It says, but we have this treasure in earthen vessels, that the excellency of the power may be of Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai and not of us. Okay? We preach this word in these regular bodies. We're flesh and blood. We can die just like anybody.
Hey man, we can be judged just like anybody. That's why you can't take the truth lightly. You can't think like, oh, well, I'm an Israelite and I believe, so the Lord is just gonna have mercy on whatever I do.
It says that the excellency of the power may be of Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai and not us. like the elder one said, if Jacob has spiritual power right now, Jacob could just do whatever they wanted. If you gave every Israelite, you know, just a random Israelite, I should say.
Yeah.
Okay? So Yahweh B'Hashem Yahushua gave us this word, even though we're in these fucked up bodies, to not get in our emotions, man, to not think of ourselves of something more than we're not. But in due time, Yahweh B'Hashem Yahushua, we're going to be joined heirs with Yahushua. But right now, it's all about, you know, and it'll forever be, of course, glorifying the Lord.
Hey, well, what's up?
That's what we live for. We're not in our glory yet.
What's something that the elect is going to say upon being glorified? All right, it says you're going to be in the spirit of, dang man, I'm getting all this reverence. I'm an unprofitable servant, man. I'm an asshole. Like, dang, you know. And that's how Jake, you know, really think, man. It's like, man, you have to praise Yahweh B'Hashem Yahushua for dealing with you, because it's like, man, without you, I'd be through. I'd be nothing, man. I'm a fucking, I suck, dude.
Yeah.
This is the only thing that gives us hope and purpose is the Lord, man. This, if you ain't got the Lord, man, you effed.
Through.
You're through.
Verse 8, we are troubled on every side, yet not distressed.
Right, we see the looming destruction coming. We see Revelation 12 and 12 coming to pass. We see Jacob's trouble. We see, hey man, the powers that be already, hey man, I noticed the cops have been pulling around and stopping and fucking going slow around us a lot more than they used to, man. You know, they can't wait to get the order to grab us, man. You know? But, we're not stressed about it.
It says, we are troubled on every side, yet not distressed. We are perplexed, but not in despair.
Yeah, we're perplexed. Right? Nobody believes us. They talk down on us. Oh, you guys are wrong. You guys are wrong on all levels. You know? But not in this. We don't give a fuck what you think. This word isn't for all of you, man. The Lord doesn't care about the majority of you.
Yep. You don't care about the majority of Israel. Because the majority of Israel, our people, are wicked. It says
malicious soul. It says the spirit cannot enter into a malicious soul, man.
Yep. Yeah. It says the spirit in a malicious soul, she shall not enter.
Yeah.
You know. Oh, it says. It also says, and it will not dwell in the man or a person of sin or something.
Yeah, it won't dwell in him that is subject to sin.
Man.
Meaning you just can't get right, man. Like you just nothing you can do, man. You just a complete turd.
It's verse 9. Persecuted, but not forsaken.
Not forsaken, man.
Cast down, but not destroyed.
But not destroyed, man. We're still here. Jake's still out here. Hey, everybody else is getting worn out, worn down. Alright? You guys are running out of your wits. And it's going to get worse because the plagues are not going to stop. Alright? This place is going to get waxed worse and worse. And it's going to get to the point, alright? Hey, like in the scriptures where it said, oh, this man have clothing, make him a leader over us. And he said, I shall not be a leader over you. Why? Because everything's through. They're going to be like, man, I don't want to be the voice. I don't want to be the voice of comfort in this place anymore, man, because, hey, it's destroyed.